My kids never get homework. And I feel like homework is kind of a thing that teachers don't really give anymore.
So they don't. And the whole reason for that is they started trying to protect the kids' mental health. And they said that it was so the kids could have more family time.
Right.
And it's just like, I get that, but part of homework is teaching deadlines and responsibility, making sure you're learning the material. I don't agree with no homework. I think they could have done a little less than it used to be, but even Ricky said it, in college, they get a shit ton of homework. So it used to be where, especially in high school, they would prepare these kids to go to college. College is not like a central focus anymore. A lot of people don't hold college in the same regard as they used to. So a lot of kids aren't even going to college. A lot of parents aren't expecting their kids to go to college. And part of that reason is because college has got so expensive that you can get this job and then you're in debt for your college years. And it's like you don't make enough.
You know what's weird? I don't know if this is just something with me as a mother, but I don't expect my kids to go to college. I want my kids to do whatever makes them happy inside. College might not be the goal for them. It might not be what they want, but I don't even expect it.
I don't really expect my kids to go to college. It depends what they want to do. Like the oldest is wanting to do like cosmetology, stuff like that. So she doesn't really need to go, but she has to go to a cosmetology school.
I went to cosmetology school.
See, and that is in its own form. That's like a trade school. So right. I think that's good. The boys, they have no interest at all. I mean, Jax is still a little young, but I don't think they're going to go to college. They don't like school enough.
Right.
Carson is only 6, but she says that she is going to go to college for 8 years so that she can get her doctorate and have a doctorate in veterinary science. So she's a veterinarian. And I
can support that.
Yep. I was like, whatever, homie. If that's what you want to do, I'm down. She loves awesome. Her animals. Yeah, she loves her animals so much. It's great.
But I think you're right. You made a very valid point about when your kids go to school, they need that accountability of saying, like, you have a deadline. You have to have A, B, C, and D done by this date. Mm-hmm. And this is what your expectations are. And a lot of times these kids come home.
I can't remember who it was that talked about it, but somebody had said they weren't really big into school, but in school, it's not the like material itself that's important. It's the real life aspects you learn. So like tests, you have to learn how to actually prepare for something. You have to learn how to manage your time. You have to learn deadlines and all that stuff. That is the type of thing that school is meant to actually teach.
Right.
And it's not, because a lot of people say, I never use anything that I learned in school. That's just random stuff you don't really have to learn. It's just there.
It teaches you more structure and stability in life,
which I feel like kids don't really have nowadays. It's the structure side of things. A lot of kids just don't have. You're right, though. They get home, get on their game. They don't even go out and interact with other kids anymore. So it's kind of just like, what's happening?
There's been times where I have told my son, like, give me the remote control, give me the game, and get the hell outside on your bike. It is sunny outside. Go now. Because it's like they self-isolate, and that's not good for their mental health either.
No, and a lot of kids think that, just because they are on FaceTime or social media, they're on a game, whatever, talking to their friends. Nowadays, that seems to be enough for them, and it's really not. You gotta be in with them.
One of the things that really scares me is you don't know who these kids are talking to on the opposite end of that game. And that's what I say to my son all the time. I've even found pictures. There was a picture of a weird dude in his boxers that was sent to my son on one of those little chats. And you best bet I took that shit right to the police department.
It's like, what game is it? I think Roblox. Roblox is the one that's really bad, where everybody says there are all types of predators and stuff on there.
This was this old guy shirt off in his boxers, and he sent it to my son. And I literally, because I go through his phone randomly, and that's the thing that freaks me out, Kyle, because you never know. You just don't know.
And it's same with social media, because you got to think too, the game is changing. I don't think it's going to be quite as bad for our current generation, but their kids, the level of AI sophistication and all types of stuff. Because remember when catfishing used to be, you couldn't actually do a FaceTime or anything like that. It was all chat.
Dude,
Catfishing is going to be crazy because they can actually make a person and it's going to look realistic.
Dude, I've kind of been duped a little bit already myself, like kind of put myself back out there. And yeah, I kind of think I got duped by somebody already.
So I saw whenever I was uploading the last podcast, I saw there's this little thing that pops up whenever you have to upload it, right? And it has like, is this allowed for kids? Is this video private? They have added a new like button that I guess you have to press. And it's like, is this, are the voices from this person? Like if Mr. Beast was talking in there and it had him literally promoting an object, promoting water bottles. So he's in there talking, promoting this water bottle, but it never really happened. So you have to mark the voice is stolen. You have to mark that it's not actually Mr. Beast. It's an AI representation of him. And there's one other thing, like the background and objects in the video are all AI also.
That it's scary because, like, honestly, you can get duped, and that's why even dating in this day and age, like, I'm scared because people are weird. I'm serious. Like, I've had experiences already. I could make a whole podcast about some of my experiences.
I've seen so many videos lately. Like, there's this whole thing. I was listening to Theo Vaughn, I think. And Theo was talking about the fact that like media and everything can't compete with AI and how fast moving things are nowadays. So like movies aren't a thing anymore. I think we talked about that.
Right.
But it's just a crazy issue where there's no original content anymore. Like no one makes something new. It's all copied bullshit. And now there is also AI. So all the stuff that people are filming, it's not even real anymore. It's all just fake bullshit that people come up with or a computer program comes up with.
Honestly, it's scary, especially if you're going out there like, and I just don't know. I feel like someone has already infiltrated and duped me in like one of those catfishing ways. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but you know what the best thing is? Block. You can block people. Bye. Yeah. That's just the best way. Goodbye.
Yeah,
right.
And I think it was JD Vance was talking about AI is not as far as we think it is. Like there are so many companies jumping on AI and they don't quite know what to do with it yet. So I don't think we're really at a stage where it's going to be that big of a deal yet. But
you know what? Like my 8-year-old daughter even said yesterday, I forget, we were like checking out at a store or something. And she's like, oh, well, I said, that's what you'll have to worry about in the future. And she's like, actually, I'm going to have to worry about AI. And I'm like, my head spun around. I'm thinking, damn, she's right.
Well, it's just like ChatGPT and stuff like that. That is all really good. It's effective. It can write out a question or a paper or whatever you need it to. But if you really dig deep, you can kind of tell that like, right. It's not.
Hold on. I was at an IEP meeting for my daughter, and they wanted me to put some things into words, and type out a letter. I was at the meeting. I put in what I wanted. I spit that letter out. The teacher's head spun around because it looked so professional, and I did it in 2 seconds. And she was like, wow. I didn't tell her I did it from AI, but I spit that out so professional. It was so funny, though.
Homie, it's because people, and it's the same thing with all the videos and shit. People are too gullible. It's like, you can tell. If you know what you're looking for, you can tell. Like,
well,
around people, you'll see the blur because they still have to kind of be inserted into the scene. It's just, there's all types of little tells, and I think that needs to be more widespread.
So, what I don't understand, and maybe you can enlighten me, have you ever seen those lives where it'll be like a girl and she's like doing something, like shaking her boobs around or shaking, like doing something, but it's a loop. They call it a loop because people in the comments are like, you were doing the same thing yesterday. Like you were on the same live yesterday and you said the same freaking thing and you did the same thing. And then people are like, this is fake. It's fake. It's fake in the comments.
So that's not AI.
But what is that though? I don't understand.
That is people literally just taking a recording of a live they did and replaying it for the live. That's all it is. So you can go live, have a whole show for people, and you don't actually have to do anything, and you're getting gifts and all types of stuff.
That's what I was saying. This girl, just sitting there without a bra and having on a shirt, was making bank. But I watched it. Hold on, and it was the same thing too. It was. I literally saw it with my own two eyes, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's because she doesn't want to sit there all day being preyed on. You know what I mean? It is all legit, just a recording, and people do that shit like because there are so many people that are thirsty and desperate out there. You see how many people jump on that shit? There were probably 1,000+ people in that live.
There always are.
Yeah.
And there's this other girl, she sits in her car and it's just the way that she has her legs and she's making bank. But it pisses me off because here we are trying to save people's lives, okay? And try to help people. And no one gives a about that. It's like, it's just weird how people can make money off of something so insignificant sometimes. Like, and I think a lot of that is sex trafficking as well. I think that these dudes put these girls in a room with and make them make these videos sometimes because the woman looks in some of these videos like it's not what she wants to be doing.
They don't want to be doing it, but they have no other skills. They have no other talents. So there's
but I also see it as like, I feel like some women that are sex trafficked are actually put in front of a camera and put on live for these dudes to just make money off of these women and their vulnerability and their disease.
That's been happening since the internet was created, homie. Like there used to be rooms where it was you would get private like FaceTime shows. I can't remember what the heck it was called, like a Zoom call. But you can see each other and that the person in the room works one out along with the person who's viewing and paying. So that's been a thing for just years and years and years and years. The other problem is, so that's like a big self-worth thing. Like people think that's all that they can do is show off their stuff, and like that's it. That's what the world has come to, because people don't come to social media a lot of times or the internet in general to learn things. That's always like, I want to know my info real quick. They come to social media, they come to the internet and watch videos because they want to be entertained so they can escape their normal life. So we're talking about real stuff. We're talking about recovery and addiction and all types of stuff like that. A lot of addicts, they don't want to hear that because that motherfucker's going through withdrawal right now. He doesn't want to hear about what happens whenever that, you know what I mean?
Right, but I feel like it's just a shame. Sex is always going to sell. It's always going to be the thing that people are attracted to.
Yeah.
But it's just sad to see how some of these people can just get on and keep doing the same thing. And like, I don't know.
You could do it. It's hard for guys. Guys don't really have that option unless
you know what it is.
I'm
not saying against anybody, but I just feel like for me, I would never put myself out there. I don't want people having, like, even I'm weird with even sending people pictures. I don't want people having pictures of me. I don't.
Right. No.
Sorry. I get asked like, oh, send me a picture of this and that. No, you ain't getting shit from me. Sorry.
Did whenever you were younger, did you ever send like nudes through the phone?
Yeah, I've done that.
I have to. I did like one
But like
time.
right now, I don't want to do that. And that's the thing. Like when you give your number out to somebody or whatever, I feel like I don't want your DP coming right up into my inbox. Get the freak out of here with that.
It's
Like
normal now.
no, but and the sad part is a lot of these people don't respect the fact that I'm a mother. My kids have my phone. Half the freaking time, one of my kids has access to my phone. I don't need your shit coming through my fucking,
People don't care about that stuff. Like it's just
It's not normal to me though.
It's not.
I don't know. I don't want because pictures live forever. Like if I send you a picture, who the fuck are you sending the picture to? What are you doing with it?
What are you doing with that picture? Are you
Right.
tapping one out? That's freaking weird. I mean, it's strange. But
it is. It's just like, but I don't know. People can be very awkward when you put yourself back out there. It's just a weird scene now, Kyle.
Well, and then you get in person with somebody, and it's like, so somebody will do that over the phone. They'll whip it out, do whatever they got to do. And then in person, they won't even like talk to you. Like you'll sit there and have dinner or something, and they can't have a conversation. They can't do anything. And it's just
right.
like,
You're jumping right to the, you know what? And it's like that. I'm sorry, is a turnoff to me. It is.
people aren't wanting to get married anymore.
It ain't what I want. I never want. I have always been that girl that said I will never get married. Never.
Okay, so I'll rephrase that. Nobody wants real relationships anymore. Now, you end up in certain parts of like the US and stuff. That's absolutely not true. There are some areas where people are all about it. And it's still somewhat the same. You get into LA, you get into New York, you get places like that. It's like it's all just F buddies, and that's it. There's no real relationships. Everybody's cheating on each other. It's freaking gross. Like the morals and everything of people are just completely gone.
I don't understand. I'm sorry, but I really have a problem with cheating because if you're with somebody, you're with that person. You figure it out with that person. You don't need to go elsewhere. Going elsewhere is like it, that. I don't get it. I've never cheated on someone. I've always been overly loyal, unfortunately, and that is something I'm working on because
it's good to be
I can be too loyal. Yeah, but I'm too loyal.
Let's say you're with someone for 20 years. They're like your high school sweetheart. Maybe you'd been with one person beforehand or whatever. So you're with that person, and it's like obviously some things are going to get stale. But if you really feel the need that you got to go out and just like sneak around behind someone's back, because usually if you're going to cheat, it's because someone else out there is exciting you more, and you forgot that, you know, when you're with the same person forever, some things are just going to slow down a little bit. But you get that quick hit of excitement, and it's like
it's dopamine. I think it's that dopamine rush. Yeah. I think that's all that. And for a guy, I feel like women are emotional, very like I am an emotionally attached person to people. So when you break that trust, like I don't look at you the same anymore. You will never be the same in my eyes again. Like you're tainted in my eyes. So
I used to think that guys were the ones that cheated more, just from what I've seen.
I agree.
It is. So if you look at stats, because this has been researched now, it's actually women by like 15, 20%.
No way. I don't believe that.
Yeah, no. I'm serious, 100%. Both sides do cheat. You're absolutely right.
No, both sides do. You're right.
It's women by like 15 or 20%. And whenever it came to like how much you were actually affected, so the way, I can't remember who the hell did this, the way they were kind of monitoring it is how hard has it been for you to actually be in a healthy relationship after you were in the relationship where you were cheated on. And for women, it was harder to bounce back from them being cheated on.
Right.
But yet more women are the ones cheating. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, I just feel like women are more emotional. Like when I'm with somebody, I'm more emotionally attached. Men aren't like that. Men can attach to anything. Maybe I'm just tainted in my own thinking, but I really truly believe that like a man doesn't look at it the way a woman emotionally looks at things.
They do more than you think. I promise you that. Because, like, I've been cheated on. I know how that feels. It's not... It fucked me up for a long time.
Right, and James is saying about the Ashley Madison page. I remember that one of the Duggars was on that page, like getting women and all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot about that. Is that even still a thing?
I don't think so.
I'm not actually sure.
It is wrong no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's the man or the woman. It's wrong. It's wrong because you are hurting that person and breaking their trust.
Right.
And once that's done, it's like I'm the type of person that you do that once, I will never love and like you the same. Sorry.
It doesn't even have to be like a relationship cheating. I feel like trust is harder to earn nowadays. At least for me, it is. For someone to actually earn my trust, it's harder. So once you have my trust, like I'm gonna give you everything. But if you break that shit, it's game over.
Right.
I feel like I wasn't always like that. I don't know. And maybe some of that might have to do with the whole freaking addiction and going through all that and being screwed over multiple times.
I think a lot of people in recovery have trust issues because we've been hurt so many times from so many people, whether it's family, somebody that you're with in a relationship, whether you had a bad childhood and you just don't trust people. We don't trust the system. We don't trust anything.
It's hard too, because I feel like whenever family is trying to figure out how to deal with you whenever you are in that addiction, it's so painful for them and they treat you like shit in a lot of ways because they think it's what's right. It's like they aren't actually breaking your trust, but to you in that moment, they are. And since it's family members and people we're close to, whenever we get through all that, it's hard to trust anybody because the people we trusted the most hurt us the most.
It's hard when you look at the people that you love that have hurt you in your life. But you know what? It's worth it to heal. It's worth it to do the work because you're worth it. When you start really healing, you'll start healing leaps and bounds.
I wanted to talk about the Olympics. You want to do that?
But yeah, go.
Sure. Okay. All right. So Olympics. I have been doing like a deep dive into this. Oh my gosh, RayGun. That's her name. So she was an Olympic break dancer who went in, did her Olympic tryouts and everything, got in. I think she was like Australian or something. I don't remember. But she goes in and literally just makes a fool of herself. I've watched the dance a couple of times and it is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. That being said, everybody has just completely destroyed her because her dance was so bad. Everybody was like, how the heck did she get into the Olympics? All this stuff, which I agree. But she's riding this like 15 minutes of fame now, and it's just become a whole thing. So a lot of people were trying to figure out, one, if it was like a stunt, because whenever you're in the Olympics, if you aren't going to get a gold, a lot of people probably aren't going to remember you. It's just how it is. People remember the people who win. So I feel like since social media and just creating a scene, creating hype has become more of a thing, I think she possibly could have done better and went in there and was like, you know what? I know I can't beat this person or this person or this person. So I'm just going to make a fool of myself, get all the hype and call it good.
What's his deal with I see life lessons saying, hey, the kangaroo was fire? Can you fill
Bro,
me in on that? Because
so
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna do it. I'm
Thank
gonna do
you.
it. So in the dance, she's doing her thing, doing her little flips, and then she goes,
No.
bro, just the dumbest shit ever. It was hilarious. And whenever she's down on the floor, like you'll watch, I can't think of a good movie. You'll watch a movie where they're doing like, where they're trying to do break dancing, but they can't. So they're on the floor, like, and doing a little spin, and it goes really slow because they suck. She literally did that on the
They're
ground.
all saying she knew what she was doing. She did that shit on purpose.
That's what I'm saying. I think she wanted to make a viral moment because she knew she couldn't win, which in a lot of cases, I think that's an okay thing to do. You know what? You got to get what you can get. In the Olympics, that's kind of serious, because the Olympics is meant to be a serious thing.
Right.
And there was all types of stuff going on where they said whenever she was in the qualifiers, they said her husband was one of the people that was the judges. So we found out that was debunked. He was not one of the judges. He is her coach, though. I watched some of the like older breakdancing videos and stuff that she's done, and she actually is halfway decent in some of those. So there has to be more to it.
So life lessons is saying like she made a lot of people laugh.
Yeah.
And look, we're still talking about it. So you're right. She did what she did.
It's just whether she should be punished for it because it was during the Olympics.
Right, because it's taken as a serious sport. They do take that sportsmanship serious.
And it's an honorary thing. Like, it is a big deal to be an Olympic athlete. And so for someone to come in and shit on that just because they didn't think they were going to win,
almost making like a mockery. Almost making a mockery out of something that is serious.
Yeah, and that's what's a big deal, which honestly, I feel like I can get behind that in some ways. I'm all for people having fun and shit. And you know what? If you aren't going to win something, you're being a good sport and you're going to go be goofy instead. But go have your fun. Go do it. Olympics might not be the spot.
Right.
Yeah, that's all. I don't know. There's been so much shit about it. And people were also talking about how if you're going to do that, somebody else could have took that spot. Again, she is a decent breakdancer from some of the things that I've heard and seen. So you got to remember, I'm pretty sure breakdancing hasn't been around for long. If it has, I haven't heard about it for a long time.
And Jess just said about people were more concerned about Simone's hair rather than her talent.
Yep.
So, I mean, we look at people, everything's about outside perception, right? Unfortunately.
I don't know. There aren't many things left, especially from a worldwide perspective, where there's camaraderie and there's support between opposing nations and all types of stuff like that. That's why it's such a big deal. And I can't think of anything else between like Olympics and I don't remember what it's called. NATO, or not NATO, the one where United Nations. Besides those, like, I can't think of anything where there's like full governing bodies supporting other nations and stuff like that.
And those athletes take their time, they pour their heart and souls into, they start from childhood.
Yeah, literally.
That's their whole life, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like to make a mockery of something that someone poured so much time, effort, and money into is a shame.
Well, can you imagine being the person that is in the breakdancing scene and you've maybe I don't know, you've been practicing for the last 10 years, every single day you got there and you've danced for like 8 hours a day. That's all you've done with the last decade of your life. And for whatever reason, she took your spot in the Olympics.
Right.
Oh, I'd be pissed.
Right. I think that there's going to be a lot of planning that goes into the next Olympics now because of this. A lot of rule changes, policy changes.
I just hope they don't ruin it and make it so that it's so risky to be in the Olympics because there's so much risk of like getting a fine if something goes wrong that people start not competing. Because I could see that stuff like that has happened in regular sports. So I don't know, man. I just hope these people are like getting paid and shit. Because at the very least, you're doing all this. I hope you're at least getting something out of it somewhere.
Right.
Especially in this world, because we were talking about before we got on the live, we were talking about like KFCs and shit. So KFCs in my area are closing. So another big chain basically going downhill. And like it's all the economy and the working class and everything going on right now. I don't know about you, but whenever I go into KFC, like the people really don't do a good job.
They ignore you. When I go in, the last time I was in KFC, I was literally standing in there. Not one freaking person turned around. They were just all back there effing around. I see them outside smoking, then walking in, doing nothing. They didn't even turn. I was in there for like 20 minutes just trying to exchange because they gave me the wrong food. It took me 20 minutes to get somebody to be like, hello. Why is the company not... Listen, the last few times I've left there, I've been so pissed that I literally wanted to do the customer survey. I don't take my time to do that shit. No. But I almost like got to the point of being like, wow, this place is dysfunction at its finest. Like McDonald's, the people at McDonald's, they love me. They're so good to me. They know it's me when I pull up, like they know my order.
So part of the problem is it became a big deal to get a job at those places whenever minimum wage went up. And then prices have kind of escalated everywhere. So these people that are going and working at these places, they aren't making enough. That's all it is. So, I mean, those jobs aren't usually meant to be like a job where you can really, really support yourself. It's meant to be a job for people that are just starting work or people that are trying to move up in the ladder, stuff like that.
But what I saw when I was in there is it was all high school kids. There wasn't one older person there to guide these people. They were all just back there effing around. It was like one big F fest.
And they hire anybody, so it's kind of like the standards aren't there for who they're actually going to take in. Kids these days, they don't work the same.
Like my girl Jess, $11.50 an hour, been at Papa John's for a year.
Oh yeah, no, that's $11.50.
There is no way. Jess, you are better off. Like, and I know why you work there and all but it's like, wow, and to show that you've showed up there for a year and haven't gotten anything more, that's sad.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know. You can try and work in places like that and move up the ladder or something. You can have it as a second job. That's kind of what it.
Wow. Erin said her sister makes $22 an hour working at Wendy's. Jess,
manager,
go to Wendy's. Go to Wendy's.
Though,
right.
You got to get that manager spot. And even the people that are managers are usually looking to move up the ladder even after that point, or there's nobody else. It just depends on the situation.
Right.
But it just, man, you cannot. I make decent money, and I mean, shit, it's hard to live nowadays. I mean, we have to watch what we get grocery wise. We can't just get whatever the heck we want if something breaks. Like there's so many things that it's. I don't know. If it keeps on going like this, nobody's going to be able to do anything except for the rich, and that's it.
Right.
I worry once we get to the point where we can't buy groceries again, that's when I'm going to have a problem. Especially working as much as I do. Like, if I can't afford groceries just because it's too expensive,
it's crazy. Honestly, the price of groceries is crazy. And my kids, they're so used to just throwing whatever they want into the cart. And sometimes, like, I have a lump in my throat as I'm cashing out. I'm like, and lately there are things that I'm like, not today, not today. Like, not today. Mommy's already spent a lot of money today. Like, I can't keep doing this.
They throw a fit about it too, don't they?
Right. Oh, God. They want all junk food. They want all. If I don't come back with ice cream and all the junk. But see, I don't eat junk food like that. I don't. And that's all that they want. Like, I want to put like healthy stuff in the cart and they want junk. So
I did see something saying the housing market is kind of coming back together, which I don't know if that's true or anything. I literally just read headline and a little description. But if the housing market comes back, that might not be bad.
Ricky said, did you see the immigrant with 13K in EBT a month? What?
13K? That's how much do you know?
First of all, you know what's crazy? Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't qualify.
Do you know anybody that does?
I used to, but I don't no longer qualify for it. So I'm right there, literally right there at that income level. So I don't qualify for assistance, and it sucks because everything's cash out of my pocket. I don't get food stamps. I don't get any of that.
So that's my thing too. That's what I've never understood. Because if you are at that point that you're at, you're making. I'm not making enough. I'm barely there. You're making just a little bit more, so you don't actually end up having enough to pay for groceries, but you don't qualify, so you can't have something like paying for those groceries makes it so you make less than the other people that make less.
So with my kids being home all summer, I'm spending at least $200 every other day at the grocery store. At least.
And I'm not against immigrants, like at all, especially legal immigrants. Come on, do what you got to do. And I understand there are programs to help assist them. We need to kind of take care of our own in some regard. And then on top of that, we've got all these people coming in. They have to be able to start from somewhere. Like if they're working, there has to be like some obscene restrictions on them where like you have to be working 40 hours a week for a year before you can even get half the money you think you need for groceries or something. It should be a lot harder.
Like when I was getting food stamps and I was first in recovery, I used to go to the grocery store and I didn't mind getting my kids whatever little snacks and treats they wanted. But today, when it is literally coming out of my pocket continuously, I'm like, I still get them whatever they want, but I'm a little more hesitant about just certain things, or I won't buy something for myself because I want to make sure that the kids get what they need.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. I eat pretty minimal. I'll have my like random things and the kids eat.
Honestly, since I have no one to really cook for anymore, I haven't really been cooking dinners. Like my kids, like I'll make certain things like pasta or something easy. They don't even want to eat it. They don't even want to eat it. So it's like, you know what? If you just want to grab what you want to grab when you want to grab it, and that's how you want to rock for right now, it is what it is. Because I don't eat dinner. So it's like they don't want to eat it. So it's like, what's the point?
Well, and that shit drives me crazy because
it drives me nuts too. Because I want to sit down together as a family. But they don't want to.
It's not even just that. Like back in the day, if we would have said we weren't going to eat something that our parents made, fine, you just won't eat. Once you hit day 4 or 5, you're going to be hungry as fuck, and you're going to eat what they make.
Well, for me, and what caused severe body dysmorphia for me is I wasn't allowed to leave the table until every motherfucking thing was done. Everything.
Yeah.
So I used to sit next to my brother and he would want the food. So I would like put it under the table to him so that he could have it so that I could get away from eating it. And it's like, that's why I have very unhealthy eating habits. Like I could go days and days and days with no food and I don't even care. It doesn't bother me.
I used to eat really, really slow because, like, I wouldn't. My dad would make some big ass portions sometimes too because we were broke, so we would make like sausage and potatoes and stuff. But he'd give me a lot, just making sure that I was fed. But I couldn't
Right.
leave the table without finishing that, so I just get a shit ton of food. I'd be at the table for like 2 hours just because I had to pace myself.
Right. And for me, like, I'm the type of person that I swear if you were to test me, this is all the nutrients that I get is Red Bull. I drink these all day long.
How much you spending on Red Bull a day?
So they're 2 for $6. So $12.
Hey, $12 a day. So you are damn near a smoker at this point. So
Right.
think of so you take that $12 and then multiply it by every day in the month. If you give up Red Bull, you probably have enough to be able to feed the kids for an entire week.
Guess what? I'm not giving up Red Bull.
That's what I wanted you to say.
And guess what? I would like to buy stock in Red Bull because I spend so much money on it.
So that's my thing though. That's what I wanted you to say because like I do the same shit. Like obviously I'll get some cigarettes. I've been drinking Monster here and there. So it's like everyone tells you, oh well, you got to cut something back and da da da. Which yes, you do have to cut things back sometimes, but you can't cut every damn thing out of your life just to survive. It's hard.
Well, right. And I got a hookup at the store that I go to. The guy looks out for me. So he'll give me cases with like for cheap. I got a case for $24, a whole case.
At least you're just getting the little Red Bulls. I've been going the monsters, not the 12 ounces, but the really big ones with like the screw cap. I've been taking out one of those every like other day. It's not good.
You know what it is for me? It's the fizz. There's something about having that, like, it almost reminds me of alcohol, I'm not going to lie. The taste of Red Bull.
Yeah.
Because have you ever drank Red Bull with, like, like Red Bull and vodka or Red Bull and,
Many times.
I used to do those shots and all that. So for some reason, when I drink the Red Bull, it has that, like, burn-in taste. It kind of, I don't know. I like the way it feels.
Jess was talking about how she prefers Monster over coffee, and it auto corrected it to Lobster over coffee. I was like, "Damn, girl, you got some expensive taste." Lobster over coffee. Wake up in the morning, get you a nice lobster going. I'll take some.
Well, in recovery. So before I was in recovery, I never drank coffee. I was never a coffee drinker. And then when I lived in the halfway house, everybody would have their 100 cigarette with the coffee all day outside. The hundreds. So that's what I would do all day. And then they'd dub them out and share them. Everybody be sharing the same cigarette at the halfway house.
Man, I would never, whenever I was in rehab, I think that's what got me smoking really, really bad. Because before that, I wouldn't smoke that much. Like I'd maybe have
Right.
5
Because
cigarettes.
you're out there on those breaks and it's like that's what everyone does is smokes.
And yeah, I never used to like smoke one after the other. And that's where I started it. I would have 2 in a row because I couldn't just have a smoke whenever I wanted. So it had to be, oh, let me have some while I've got the time. And dude, I smoked so much in rehab. It was bad.
Me too. I used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day.
Okay.
And I no longer do. Right.
I don't think I've ever got to that point. Do you want to talk about for everyone who doesn't know, it is Overdose Awareness Month. And we wanted to talk about real quick just kids going back to school.
Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously it's good to have a conversation with your kids about the fact that there are a lot of dangerous things out there. This Tylenol that you may be getting from your friend because you have a headache might not just be Tylenol, whatever. And then we kind of wanted to talk about for the people that have teens or older kids. Obviously, it's also good to talk about sex and intimacy and stuff like that and valuing yourself. So just be aware. Like it's hard to have those conversations with your kids. We've had to have them. It's not the most fun. It's super awkward, especially like for the kids that aren't mine because I'm stepdad. But it's something that I feel like is necessary because if you go out there, like nobody ever had that talk with me, and
Right.
I mean, I went out there, and once I figured out what putty was, I was all about it. So it just there are safer practices.
Kyle, my God.
I mean, there are safer
No.
practices. So you got to know to wrap up, all that stuff, and it's gonna be uncomfortable, but you have to have these conversations.
I was never taught those things either. Like, I remember being that girl that got her period that didn't even know what it was. I thought I was dying.
Yeah, that's huge.
Could you imagine being a girl in school? You go to school, you've never had a talk like that. I go to school and I'm like thinking, oh my God, I'm dying. Something's wrong with me, trying to figure it out. And then realizing that, oh my God, that was normal. And then, oh my God, that could have been prevented with a conversation and some education.
Yeah, because Lex, she had her first one. I think she was in school, if I remember right. She was somewhere not home, but she got her first one, and we knew it was time, or it could happen anytime. So
Right.
she had a couple of like pads or something in her purse, but it was just like if we hadn't had that conversation with her, one, she wouldn't have known what was happening, but two, she wouldn't have been prepared. And now I think they actually have some of that stuff in girls' bathrooms at school. I might be
Right,
wrong.
which I think is great because you know what? It is embarrassing. It's embarrassing as a girl. Like you could have like accidents where like it leaks through or whatever. That's what brings shame. And
Yeah.
there shouldn't be shame around things that are a normal part of everybody growing up. Puberty is normal, but our parents didn't have these talks with us. Some of us. I know mine didn't.
Have you talked to Joey yet about?
I've talked to my kids. Yes, I'm very open with my kids. I am very open. And the other thing is like you might think like your kids, like 10-year-olds get their periods. Okay, let's just like
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, it's getting younger and younger and younger. Also, so be prepared for that as a parent.
I don't remember when we had the convo with Lex. I don't remember. We told her kind of what happens and what's going on with her body. I don't think we talked about the fact that it also leads to now that you are having your period. If you are intimate with a boy, this could happen. You know what I mean? So, do you feel like that's a good thing to say too?
Well,
now?
I do because I want my kids to know that when you do certain things, A, B, and C, this is what happens.
Right.
Because if they don't, what if you just never know? And then also, when you hit puberty, you start having like different thoughts and feelings, and you got to know that those things are normal. It's not weird. It's not like, oh my God, why am I attracted to this person? Or, it's normal.
Well, and I feel like not having those conversations, especially with like boys, not having those conversations with boys can lead to they don't quite understand what's going on, and then they may have like some unhealthy practices and stuff just because all of a sudden one day they were chilling and rubbed up and all of a sudden crap came out. Like, what the hell just happened?
Right,
So
not knowing.
yeah, if you have no information at all, it can be like, I don't get what happened, but I loved it. So then they're gonna start chasing something like that, and it can get really weird really fast because boys are dumb. So yeah, all that stuff. Good. You don't have to go in depth with your kids. I don't think we went super crazy the very first conversation with any of the kids, but it was hard with Jax too. I haven't said really a ton on here, but Jax is only 12, and like having that conversation even with a 12-year-old because he's a little bit more like immature and he's a little slower. Well, we had to have that conversation with him, and we had to have like a detailed conversation just to make sure that he understood, because it takes him longer to pick up on things.
I completely relate to you on that because I have 4 different kids and they are all very different, like mentally, and they have different individual needs. Like one of my children struggles a little bit, like what you were just saying, where it's harder for her to understand and comprehend certain things that the littler kids understand, you know? But it's all it's all about meeting people where they're at everywhere in life, like with recovery, with everything, with parenting, everything.
Yeah, you got to be able to empathize with somebody and see it from a little kid's perspective, because they're going to think it's weird too. You're going to try and sit down and have this conversation with the kid and your son, daughter, whatever, and they're going to be like, I mean, now especially, you might even have a son or daughter who, whenever you're going to have this conversation with them, not only are they trying to figure that side of things out, but maybe they feel a different way where they are already questioning whether they should be a boy or a girl or some shit like that. I don't know how to handle that. I couldn't even begin. Marie got kicked. I don't know what happened. We'll call it at that. It's all good, homie. I don't know why the internet all of a sudden started being weird. That's all we got, guys. Thank you for everybody that was in here. I had fun today. I feel like it. I like the ones where it's just Marie and I sometimes, because we have some chill conversations. But cool. We love you all, and we will see you next time.